Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you yet another team race informational video or guide, whatever the two. Let's go on guide. Team race guide. Boom. Uh it's your awesome YouTuber friend Dib the Awesome. Hello everyone. And today I'm gonna explain how team races work and kind of just talk about and slash review this one in particular. So to do these races, in all honesty, you need to find a team that has full active participants. What I mean by that is, people that will talk to you 24/7, not 24/7, but at least there'll always be a few people on. See, there's 6 people right now out of the 30 members of our team. Sometimes there's 10, sometimes there's 15. It's whatever. You need a team like that. Usually there's a lot of global chats. To find a team, be sure to find a team that wants to take part in the race, that will focus, and that's the first step. Uh, Gems are involved in this. This is a huge, as far as I'm concerned, this is the hugest gem spend fest I've ever seen in terms of an event. Because the more nodes you complete, usually the better the rewards, or at least a certain number of rewards. Here, as you can see, we are currently lap 6. We're actually the highest right now on my team. So we're doing pretty good there. We are in line for rank 2 Agursis almost, so that's pretty cool. It's only on the first day too. Keep in mind, you got 6 days to complete this. Some people actually already have this at 14, almost has the 14 laps. And as you can see, like, if you can make at the very least 14 laps, if you make 14 laps and you are in first, you can get a rank 4 Agursis just by completing 14 laps. And for the most part, when you're on the first team, that is a thing. They will sometimes it will be on a team where they'll just completely overdo it. They'll get like 86, unnecessarily get 86 laps, and it's crazy. I've seen a lot of teams do that. Hey, we just completed another quest, so that means we moved another node, or we've finally moved to. We were at 2, or we were on this node, like the 3rd node, and now we're at Z. 4th node, and so we're almost completing another lap. Every lap is 4 nodes in length, so 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to count this last one to 5, so there's like 5 nodes. Every 5th node you completed a lap. For this one, first member to hatch 25 monsters completes the quest. Three members must breed 1 uncommon. All members contributes to multiplayer. There's a bunch of different kinds of quests. So there's multiplayer quests. There's first member only quests. So basically, the first person to get this quest done completes the quest. So these are actually the more difficult ones, especially if it's like breeding epics. Epics especially, that is one of the harder quests. And I will say, if you want to get that done, I will say, in terms of a team effort, this has to be a team thing. You need to talk with your teammates on who activates their temples during which time of the event for maximum epic breeding. Also prepare an epic. You need to be preparing an epic yourself. That is essential. As you can see at the moment, I have one at 6 hours. I actually just hatched, not hatched one, but bred day epic not too long ago for the epic quest. So I always have one up. That's my first thing I'm going to recommend you guys. Always have a epic ready. So if you actually learn information from like the Discord of a upcoming whatchamacallit event, always have a epic ready and always have a legendary ready, because on the 6th lap, you will see a breed 1 legendary or more. Sometimes I think it increases, but it does say just breed 1 legend, and that's usually hard to do. So if you're prepared for that ahead of time, you can get that done quickly. I will say, the quicker you do those kind of missions, people will be willing. I mean, you'll have more participants with you, because not everyone's on at the exact same time. There's never like 30 people on all the time, So do it in time where people are present. That's my best suggestion. Always make sure you have people that have their breeding trees up, so they can breed the rares. Right now, I'm focusing on breeding the epics again. I'm focusing on breeding epics and the the legendaries essentially. I don't have a legendary one up yet because again I'm still focusing on epics. Just so we have essentially so we can reduce I know we're never gonna realistically speaking, you'll never really finish the epic breeding quest. Naturally, you will require you to spend gems to skip that. I know that's a thing, but it's easier for those people that don't have to pay the full price. So make it easy. Do make it easier for them. Do prepare your epics, and I will say this is actually the best time if you're actually watching it as of the time of recording this video or just on this day. There's actually a 50% less hatching time for your eggs because of an upcoming VIP event, which is probably Monday, which requires the same stuff. It's just another round of VIP breeding. I'm gonna say this is if you are on an active team, this is far more important than that. Like 1,000 times more important than just breeding a single or just having a chance to breed 1 or 2 VIPs. Trust me, it's far, far more important than that. They're like between me and you, a ranked up 4 or 5 monster is 1,000 times better always. Don't matter what the monster is, don't matter the move set. It's always better than a level 100. Period. It's always better than that. You guys wonder why I don't use my VIPs all that much? Dib just doesn't ever use his VIPs. Well, guess what? They are 100, and I can't change that. Unless I use Elementium, which I have no interest in doing. That is the reason why I don't ever use my VIPs, because level disadvantage. Having a really high rank in this game really just makes and breaks it. That's just how the game is. That's the sense of a rank up system. Obviously, higher rank monsters are more than likely to win than lower ranks. That's just a given. True strategy also plays. What monsters are you using against the 130s? That's also a thing. If you have possessors and the enemy's weak to possessing, you have a chance to win. That's just how it goes. But yeah, that's essentially what you should do. Another thing you should do is always be sure you have money up. I will say always have like gold. Don't collect all your gold. Just be sure to save up your habitats, your legendary zones especially. Usually it says like 15 members must collect 600k gold. So just be sure you have your habitats up with gold, so you can collect that. Also have your food things open. Like I accidentally clicked on a few, but be sure you have your food collections open so you can collect for that specific amount they always want. That's always handy dandy. What other tips can I talk about? Oh, in order to prepare for these ahead of time, I recommend this. If you want to prepare ahead of time for these kind of events, I actually recommend you start breeding the Pandakins and the uncommons, the uncommon monster Greensour. Extract a bunch of those, and so you can save up a lot of time to rank up those monsters. That's highly recommended. I'm starting to do that now. I think after this team race specifically is over, I'll get into the habit of that. So that way you can do the rank up missions much easier. As you can see, I don't have a lot of green swords. Actually, green swords take a lot of time too, like 6 hours. So that example is really good. That's a fine example. Get those done ahead of time so you can rank it up easier, because it takes 120 just to rank it up once. So when you have all those selves ready, it's a lot easier on you. It's recommended. I recommend it. Because you wanted to make it as easy as possible for the people that are spending gems to skip the epic and legendary quests. The more teammates are actually getting the epic eggs and the legendary eggs ready, makes it a lot easier for them. You guys have no idea how much gem reduction. It is very vital that you do that, because sometimes it gets like really expensive, and it's really important for you to have those eggs up and ready, the epic eggs. So again, be sure if you're watching this on like the 5th day, 6 hours, and there's a day left for the the halftime hatching, I recommend getting your epics and the legendaries. Again, talk with your team, imagine who does the epics and who does what have you. Actually talk to them, because it's very important that you do. Is team hopping a thing in this event? Yes. I don't know if you ever keep track of news, but people do team hop. That is a thing. Sometimes people leave their team to hop onto another team, or some teams just start up new teams to have an easier matchup. That is also a thing. That is also a thing indeed. Uh, yeah, that's also a thing. So yeah. Uh, what else is there? I think I've pretty much explained everything. In order to really excel in these events, you need to talk to your teammates, and yeah. Again, this is the gem festiest of events. So yeah, saving your. I will say, in terms of this event, getting first is huge. Because unlike all the other events where it's just rank 3, this is a rank 5 monster. The highest rank achievable, level rank 5. Yeah, in the form of a Gursis. Ladies and gentlemen, the big scary mountain man that breathes fire, Gursis. Gursis is extremely good at 130. In all honesty, I think for a while people stopped talking about him, because there was just a whole bunch of other monsters, like the team race monsters. Yeah, I think the team monsters, in all honesty, team race monsters kind of just make the meta because when you get them, they're already rank 3. I think that's a huge point. Like, usually when you get a team race monster, it's usually rank 3, and it usually just overpowers all of the level 100s. That's just the thing. You will see a bunch of people with Undertaker. You'll see a bunch of people with Baltazar. Even if Baltazar's, like, people don't like Baltazar a whole lot anymore, because he's not as strong as the recent team race monsters. There's a bunch of team race monsters that kind of overlap him, but yeah, they kind of make they people still use them. People still use Baltazar as far as I'm concerned, just because he is a relatively high rank when you get him. That's just how it's always is. In terms of winning races. So team races kind of make the meta, and this one also concerns me too for the rest of the game. Like, I'm gonna be really happy if we do get rank 5 Agursis, because that sounds really awesome. It'd be my first rank 5 monster. I do have a rank 4 in the form of H2O, so to have like a rank 5, to actually have the shiny, beautiful thing as a possibility, that's really cool. I like that. I like that in the sound of my ears. That sounds like a cool possibility thing. I think I'd be happy if everyone got one. That'd be really cool. But yeah, so we're going to talk about the rewards here. We're going to talk about really what they do and how good are they. So, Big Ursus. I guess we pretty much just kind of talked about it, but we didn't really talk about, his stats, what have you. So, assuming if you're on a team that pretty much dominates the whole event, that pretty much gets way over 36, way unhealthily over 36, the necessary amount, like the second team's probably got like 18 laps or something. There's just a huge margin difference, and you just kind of overlapped it. You are getting a lot. This is probably the best event for you, period. Because what you get is a rank 5 Agursis. The highest rank in the game, mind you. Rank 5 is the highest. Agursis has now a base life of 71,000k. 71,000k. Can you imagine that? And he hits like a truck, because it's 130. Once you hit 130, you will easily squash anything that's underneath your feet. That's how strong the power level is at 130 for monsters. They just do damage. Even deniers at 130 do damage, even when they're not doing damage. Even building damage, because that's just how the scaling of the power has gone. And the monsters you're probably fighting, maybe like 120s, or, well, not 120s. I'd say anything that's not ranked up to at least 110, they're probably gonna get damaged a lot. Just think of it like the dungeons at the moment, like the extreme dungeon. Like, if you were to use just level 100, monsters against they're at just 120 actually. They're not even 130. They start off at like 120. And the Vadi Magma, like, for give you just a good idea, a level 120 Vagma with like a level 4 rune, and does like 31 to 32k damage against my Hydrock. And instantly kills it. That's kind of like the picture. When you have a high rank, your base damage is just stupidly high. Igris also holds some DOT, so he doesn't even need to kill you naturally. You can just watch you, burn or drown in quicksand. That's really his gig. He's got an AOE burn and a single target quicksand attack. And no, it's not a Pokemon move. It actually dumps you in quicksand. Kills you, taking 15% for 4 turns. It's crazy. Quicksand's an extremely good DOT skill. Just a really, really, beefy monster. It's really slow. Obviously, it is really slow. But again, when you're 130, your stats are nuts. Because you are now rank 5. You have now 30 levels above, you're the 100. Or if you're used to saying rank 3s, you're 15 more levels higher. Just realize that for a sec. You are 15 levels higher than you're used to for Team Race monsters. If you're used to using team Race monsters, think of yourself now 15 levels higher than that. And think about all the damage, all the sustaining you do. That's because, again, you're rank 5. Rank 5 is the best rank in the game. I'll keep saying that because that's true. That's the limit. That's the cap. And you do so much damage and you do so much sustain at that point. So other things, what else does this guy do? So I think the most selling feature for this man is the fact he's actually immune to freeze and stun. He does hold the mountain trait. This is one of the better defense traits in the game, though it has a huge Achilles heel. And I think that, personally, I do hold this monster. I do have this monster. I have him at 1-5. If you want a user of Agursis, opinion, this is my straight up opinion. If you don't even have Agursis yet, just listen to me for just listen to this next thing I'm about to say. If you won Vesavis, which is his mirror skill that also taunts, please, I beg you, do this. Just do this in general, because this just ensures that he will do a splendid job on your defense team. Please, I've said it 1,000 times on my stream. Just in general, I've said this. I probably said this in the guide and the journal entry. I did make a guide and a journal for him. Please. The thing that's all that is holy. Run something that gives immunity to possession. This goes for any mountain monster in the game. Do that. Literally do that. That's the only thing. That is literally the only thing stopping you from destroying everything. I see people don't do it. And they're fighting things that possess. It's stupid. It is a huge problem for this man. I say, out of all the mountain monsters to get possessed, besides Cryotan, this is this. Before Cryotan, this was the major one, but this is actually a second now because having your Cryotan be possessed and having AOE Mega Stun isn't really ideal for you. But for this man, this is now the second problem one. If you have Vesavis on, but even if you get possessed, you can use Vesavis. True, but if they possess you again, what do you think happens? Do you know? Okay, so this is what happens when you get possessed, and when you're using Agursis and you get possessed while having mirror up. It actually doesn't reflect the attack back at your enemies. Agursis is now the enemy unit. It's treated as the enemy unit, and mirror reflects back at the enemy. It is now theirs. Do you see the problem? So if you get possessed and you think, oh hey, so since they did the AoE possession, and I have mirror up, it's going to reflect on my enemies. No, that is not how that works. That is not how that works. It actually comes back at you, boo boo. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts you. It does not hurt your enemies. It hurts you. It hurts you again. So realistically speaking, if you get possessed and you have mirror up until it's your turn, for it to stop, working, because the mirror only lasts until his next turn, you're just going to be reflecting all the attacks back at your own team. So let's say if the enemy attacker does an AoE damage on you while possessed while using mirror, you're just going to reflect that damage on your own team. You can see the badness of the situation. So please, pair it up with Bowtie, pair it up with Joustar, pair it up with literally anything you want. Just do this for me. Do this as an Agursis brother, my brothers and sisters. Please run this man with something that gives him immune to possession. In all honesty, which would be the best things for him? Vadia Noi, Bowtie, or Joustar. Those are personally my top three. But in all honesty, anything that runs immune to possession, literally anything. If you don't like Vadianoi, if you don't like Bowtie, if you don't like Joustar, run anything that gives them immune to possession. Just do it. It was like, oh, but Dib, I could just run something that just possesses the enemies and I'd be fine. No, do that. Do run immune to possession. Run it. It's such a good defensive skill. You have no idea. It's 1,000 times really. It's just a really, really good thing, and especially they've buffed possession. They have now buffed possession, so it is just good. It's just good. It's good to run immune to possession. It's just really good. All right, so also getting first, and if you also get second, you get the second place reward too. For if you get first, you get the second place reward too. For second place, you get again just for the monster, not like the 50 elementium and 3 million food. For first place, you get 70 elementium and the rank 2 reward. For second place, again, you get a rank 2 Harusami. Now, a lot of people are bummed because they'd much rather have the Razul here. I didn't really put him up on the screen for when I was talking about him. I'm sorry about that, but let's talk about Razul here for a sec. People are really bummed out that Razul is not the rank 2, but personally, I think Harusami is the better rank 2. Now, does he do as much damage as Razul? No. Razul does an insane amount of damage. He's pretty much Barbatos with a defensive trait. If you ever watched the comparison stream for Armor Gaming about who was better, Razul and Barbatos, I was on there, and I pretty much said, you're comparing milk to milk. They're both really dangerous. Their damage is one of the highest in the game. I think Harusami is better, because he'll probably have, in all honesty, a rank 2 Harusami probably has the base stats at the point where everybody was using him like as a denier. As soon as his buffs were gone, people stopped using this thing. like just people just stopped, unless they had it like ranked to 130. You just would not see this thing. You would just not. This was a popular, very, very popular denier at some point, but due to the fact the boost to stats ended, I think they just lost popularity all entirely. So to see this at rank 2 again, I'm pretty sure people will use him again. People are going to use Harusami again because of this. Harusami has access to AoE stunning. He has access to lifesteal. So basically, he is Male Razorface with high special damage in terms of single target. I don't know in terms. He's got a special damage, single target skill, I suppose, and strong dark damage too. That also lifesteals. Lifesteal is one of the strongest attacker buffs. It's not really a buff. It's just more of a support, you could say. It's a really strong support for attackers because it basically restores the life they missed. And to have this at rank 2, it have a better life pool. So not only can it take more damage, but that means it has all that more recovery. Like it can recover that back. That means you just recover the giant pool that is its life points, because it's rank 2 now. Rank 2, I mean, lifesteal is based on the amount of damage you do, and since this is rank 3, if you were to run, not even full deny, a lot of people like running full deny anyway, so it really doesn't matter if you do run full deny. You at least get a decent chunk, for sure, if you do, lifesteal. But if you at least run 110 strength through, and you'll probably recover around 20 a crack for the 100% lifesteal move. Probably 20k thousand. I'm just assuming. You might do more than that. Maybe around 30k. Maybe 30k. I don't know the damage scaling, but 20, 25, or 30, around that with unboosted. And you'll recover a lot, because it recovers 100% of the damage you deal. That's one of his skills. He also holds a 50% heal, which is really good, because I think that's spammable. So, yeah. I think this is a way, way, way better rank 2. Just because of the ways you can use him. You don't have to use him as a damage dealer. You can use him as a denier. You can use him as a stunner. He's immune to stun. What else? And that's really about it. He's just really well balanced. I think he's a well balanced monster. He's pretty much whatever you want him to do, he'll be there for you. So that's a really nice that's a really good universal monster. You can use him for pretty much any situation. I will say he's more situational friendly than Razul. Razul only has one situation where he just focuses on blowing everyone up. He doesn't really do anything else. That at least like that's his most excelling role, and you just kind of want to take that role because that's just what he does. Razul here is a pretty much again Barbatos with the immunity to possession, and he also has a stronger buff at the cost of 50% of everyone's life. Now, with the release of relics, this isn't as much of a cost as it used to be, because if you run potions or essence, there are healing essences that heal or proc as soon as anyone gets to 50 life. This is really good. Because a lot of healers also have access to essences, so you can pretty much restore the life you have spent on it. Life regen, if you have life regen moves, basically you can heal up the cost, and that's only if the game doesn't end. Keep in mind, if the game doesn't end by the time this man moves, that's usually a bad thing if the game's not over yet. But you can actually just heal back the things you cost for it. But this man does an absurd amount of damage. Just an absurd triple damage AoE. Like, once you've done the triple damage setup, you just do an AoE and everything should be dead. The only thing that could even possibly be alive after an onslaught with this man with really decent attacks, strength runes, is probably just the Dark Monster. And you probably can deny him. Chain deny him. It's probably like a Krampus or, Joustar. Just the thing that's not damaged, that can't do anything else at that point. Yeah, I think you pretty much win the fight. Usually when you have numbers advantage, you should win. You should be winning at that point. So this man's a really, really good clearer. And to be honest, the only bonus for ranking up your Razul is just to have a higher strength. I personally think that because it's really no different. Because it like, if you were to fight a rank 10 Voltic, or something that's naturally faster at level 100, and they're both the same rank, you're not gonna go first anyway, unless you have a different rune setup. That's just the situation, because they're both the rank up. They're pretty much the same as if they were 100. If they had the same, obviously the base stats is different, but you get my point. You get the point that since they're the same level, there's no real speed advantage, no speed increase. Like, Razul doesn't have a higher speed now that he is the same level, or the same rank as Voltic. It's all the same, stat boost. They've all went up in stat boost of the same increase, so it doesn't change the situation. So, but yeah, that's really the hugest thing in terms of a damage dealer, is the increase of strength, and also the survivability, I suppose. But when you're using Razul, that's just out the window. He really doesn't care about his life pool because he takes 50% of it anyway, completely out the window. So yeah, that's just the thing. So really, the only real benefit to ranking up Razul would be just to increase the amount of damage he does. In which case, at rank 5, given his nature to begin with, I think rank 5 is more than enough. It's not as situational as Harusami. Harusami has high sustain. It can last you longer, and it doesn't have to kill, or it doesn't have to take 50% of everyone else on your team. It's just not taking life from your team. It's just not healthy in general, because if you don't get the job done quickly, it doesn't look good for you, man. If you miss, and it doesn't give precision too, so you have the chance to miss. So if you miss out all the important targets, that's not good for you. I'm not saying this again. I'm not saying this is a bad monster. I'm just saying it's not as good. It wouldn't be as good as a rank 10, 110 reward as Harusami. I'm saying Harusami is essentially a better rank 110. Am I saying he does as more damage as Razul? No. Razul does more damage. Don't worry, boys. I support the damage, but I don't support the universal situation. The universal use of it. Harusami has way more uses. He can be a denier. He can be whatever you need in that situation, because he just has access to that stuff. He has sustainability. He can be a tank. He can be a full-on damage dealer. He can be a denier. He has uses. He can be used a lot more. Razul is just damage, and if anything, it's also a risk too, because you take 50% and you have a chance to miss. You don't get precision with Razul. Then again, if you set up precision beforehand, that's no skin up the nose. Then you for sure win. Dude, if you have precision, double damage, if you paired this man up with something like Ukaduma, or just modern day double damage givers like Lux or Valgar. Well, Lux is kind of old, but Valgar. Oh, what else gives double damage? Precision. Uh, I can't really name any off the top of my head right now. It's because I've been so in depth with this. But no, Valgar is just the first thing that pops in my mind. And I know there's been more. I'm out of it today. Give me a break. I'm just out of it. But Ukuduma wouldn't be too shabby of an idea due to the fact that a lot of things nowadays do DOT. So anything to preserve your ability to survive your 50% damage to yourself. That would be nice. Everyone's using Lernian and Lernian, Baltazar. What else? What are other DOTers here that I'm seeing a lot? The Nemesis monsters. A lot of Nemesis monsters using DOTs, like Faraday. I think Zyron the Ruby. Yeah, that crazy stuff. So to be sure that it actually gets its turn without any other excessive damage is very valuable. Overall, this is a really good premier monster. In fact, a lot of these premier monsters save for I'd probably say Apex. Apex is terrible. Apex is the pity reward, pretty much. I'm not gonna go too in depth with him because I think he's the worst legendary, one of the worst modern day legendaries in the game. He's literally one of the worst things you could possibly run. He just is. I just don't like him. I just absolutely hate him. I do believe he's one of the worst legendaries. He's just there for collectible purposes. Let's talk about Tessaday. Let's talk about Tessaday. I think Tessaday is a really awesome Earth monster. Solely specific to taking out Voltic, he has one job, and one job only, and that is to kill the enemy Thunder monster, which is usually the Voltic. You will usually bring this to Voltic fights, and that's completely fine. That's his only job. It is 100% fine to run this man full speed runes. You don't even need like a damage strength. If you wanted to run a damage strength, you could, because you could be running the 2 speeds and the strength, and you'd still outrun a single speed Voltic, because Voltic has to run a stamina, and that's highly mandatory for him. So you'll always outpace Voltic. It's always not. I guess you could say it's a safety reason, just so you can always outpace. You will for sure outpace Voltic no matter what rune build. It's always a nice thing. And you might get more turns in. This guy doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, so if he gets more turns, that's relatively helpful for him. A lot of people don't like bringing him because he only does, realistically speaking, he only does earth damage. And I really don't think that's a problem. I 100% believe that is not a problem because Dib, they still have their enemy. The enemy still has their Earth monster. The Earth monster could just work well on Tessaday. Yeah, well, guess what? You have 2 other monsters, and they only have 2 at this point. You have the 3-man advantage. And you can bring the other 2 monsters to counter the other 2 monsters on the enemy team. Basically, you just can bring all the counters, and you just win. That's all you have to do. Literally, that's let's bring the other 2 monsters can deal with the other 2 monsters on the enemy team. One of the monsters can even protect. If you're worried about Tessaday taking any form of damage, just bring someone that protects them from damage. And the denier can deny, and Tessaday can quicksand drown everybody, and just basically you win the game. I always like to think Rotom. I said like a Pokemon name. I almost said. Rotom, ROFL. I'm sorry, RFL. I always think, I haven't really gotten Tessaday yet, but I always think his best partner would be RFL, simply because RFL prevents shielding, he prevents any form of healing. In fact, if you heal while having the Illuminati, you'd actually take damage instead of heal it. Shield blocking, so Atom's 100% shields are worthless. AoE burning, he's just got another DOT to add on to the quicksand. Phenomenal, but I think, again, RFL is one of the better partners for this man. But, yeah. Overall, really good premier monster. And I'm happy to see him in the race. So this isn't a bad 4th to 6th reward. This will be, realistically speaking, the people that do moderately well get this really decent Voltic counter, and that's lovely. Singularius. Oh, my boy Singularius. Oh, the years have not been kind for you. So Singularius, basically what he does, he does 2 things. It's interesting as we go down the list. Like like, well, both of these monsters had one uses, two uses. This has a lot of Arasami has a lot of situations, but as we go down the list, they just usually do one or two things at this point. Yeah. They just kind of go situationally down and down. So basically, what Singularius does, this guy will always be your extra guy monster. This guy will always be your support, whatever role you really want to call it. His main duty is just to not only drain half of your stamina and apply Stamina Leak, but the other thing is to spontaneously kill everyone after 3 turns. Basically, he's one of the few monsters in the game with an insta-death kill. It's an AoE based skill. That is a 3-turn death proc. Once 3 turns are up, you are dead. And it's literally one of the very few skills in the game where insta death is actually relevant. Like it's the only time insta death is actually relevant in a matter, because he's one of the few monsters with an insta death skill. And in fact, the only monster I can even think right now with an insta death skill that's not like an ultimate. It's not any of that. Would have to be Nox's small chance to instantly kill you. He does hold a skill that I don't know if it was spammable, but it has a small chance, like a 5% chance to instantly kill people. Then that's not even the stat. That's just not even related to the stats of it. That's just like insta death proc. That's like ultimate. That's like the Oros ult proc, and so that's not even a status effect. So, and Cryotan. Cryotan also has an insta death skill and a single target Mega Freeze. That's also a thing. But beyond that, this guy's the only person in the game that can kill people. So the main strategy with this man, if you do wind up getting Singularius, just know he is an extra guy monster, and he only does 2 things realistically, because everything else is like slow. Yeah, like he has a single target slow and he has a single target haste. Like it's not like you can't even choose the allies. Just both of them are damages skill, and there's just a chance to proc the slow on the enemy or proc haste on Singularius. Most people prefer the slow. Other people prefer the haste. What do I prefer? I think I picked up both. To be honest, I just picked up both for fun. But I think a meta move that he can run, he can also remove positive effects, so I think that's really good. I don't know if he ever had an AoE of that, but if he has a single target skill, be sure to pick that up, because that's really useful. I'm sure we can actually check that out real quick after I talk about the last monster, which isn't all that long. So this is Apex. Then this is Apex. Then take note that this is the last monster. So basically, as long as you just complete 4 laps, you get this. This is basically pity reward. And this is basically the most pitiful premiere. And it was actually available in the Lernian event. This was available as a reward for Lernian. I really think Apex is one of the worst modern day legends in the game. I really do. AoE, the best thing I can say about him is 2-turn cooldown AoE poison. And an AoE heal, I think that's on like a 30 or like a 3-second cooldown. 3-turn cooldown, not 3-second, 3-turn cooldown. There's really nothing to really flattering about this man. He's just bad. Like I'd rather, it's weird because you would think, it's gonna be really weird for me to say this, but I'd rather use Heyman. I know that's really weird, but I would honestly rather use Heyman, because like the counts would be more like I could like Heyman could provide it more interesting, fun team combinations, and I could run Heyman and Nishan's Pet or Yelitri, just anything that applies Dark Weakness, and I'd have 1,000 times more fun with comboing just stuff with that than actually running Apex. Regardless if he was like my extra guy or my healer, support or damage dealer, I really just want to use anything else. I think this man would, the only monster I would actually just run him. The only other monster, in all honesty, the only other monster like that I would even want to use Apex in a situation instead of that specific monster would probably be Drek, who is actually, like, in all honesty, also one of the worst monsters in the game. So, like, just to be clear, I would rather use, like, literally anything else than Apex, all except for Drek. Like if I had the choice between using a Drek or an Apex, I'd pick the Apex, because that would be slightly, moderately, 100 times more useful than Drek. It just is. Even though he has a high base power, this guy has a base power of 3,509, and nobody likes him. Nobody likes his skill rotation. Nobody likes anything about him. He's just bad. He just is. It's weird because he has a good base life, and I think the only thing bad about it, in terms of stats was his speed, but everything, this moves in general is just so bland and so ew. But yeah, I think it's one of the worst monsters in the game. Again, I think it's one of the worst ones. That's saying something, because this man's a gorilla, dude. This guy's design's awesome, and if you do wind up getting this monster, a rune build I recommend is the extra guy build. That's it. Two of the special damage skills, the AoE poison, and your choice of what you want to do, your single target heal or AoE heal. Both the heals are just lackluster in general compared to nowadays stuff. I do believe you can hold a potion, or an essence. People call them essences. I like to call them potions. That's moderately useful. That will increase his use. But yeah, so that's about it as I can say about this man. He's good for certain situations, but you'd much rather use anything else given those situations. I'm trying to say some nice things about him. But yeah, I think the 2-turn cooldown AoE was the only thing I could say that was nice. And plus the power stat. That's about it. And the life stat too. Those are literally the only things that I could say I like about him. It's because he has a 2-turn AoE. I always like AoEs on a really low cooldown, so you can use them again. So we're actually going to look at Singularius real quick, just real quick, and I think that'll end the video, because I think this has been going on for quite a bit of time. 41 minutes. I'm not going to get any views on this. This isn't going to get any views. If it does, I'm actually fairly impressed. I would be really happy if this does get a lot of views. But yeah, let's look at the Singularius. Actually, I don't think I've moved. Singularius was some of my very first monsters. Just not in terms of, I guess you could say he's my first premier monster. I think that's when they were doing premier monsters. I do believe I picked him up during that time. As you can see, I also don't, during that time, I've never really changed his runes. His runes are really bad. I should change that. What does relics do? Oh, he can hold 2 masks. That's lovely. Masks are an awesome relic, so that's really good. What skills? Change skill. What does he actually have? So these are the skills. Oh, these are the skills that I run. I do believe. No, the ones on the right are the ones I'm currently running. I run the. Oh, it's 4 turns now. I thought that was a 3-turn death count. So apparently it's a turn longer. Man, it's a turn longer than I said. That's also bothersome. So 4 turns till death. I always thought that was 3. Was that not 3? Was it always 4? So 4, as you can see, stalling, you have to stall a turn longer. So that's also, you might as well just kill him with DOTs at that point, if you're going to wait that long. I will say this is fairly good against teams where you would not kill them even if you put DOTs on them, or they could clean the effects. This is good for those situations, but that's it. Well, even at that, though, they could just clean insta-death. I don't know, it's just not very... Honestly, most people just use Singularity. You just wave around Singularity, because that's a 3-turn cooldown. That's a really good drain AoE. That's one of the really only reasons you use them. I do believe he has single target remove. Oh, does he even have that? Oh, he doesn't even have that. Oh, man, he didn't even have remove negative. Does he really not? No way. Wait, do I actually run it? Oh, okay, I do. Okay, I actually do. Okay, so I actually do run. I do run Collapse naturally. All right. I am proud of myself. Because that's really good. I do run Collapse. All right. So yeah, this is the scale you run for nowadays meta. Removing positive effects is really lovely. So most of the time you'll start the game off with Singularity, run. You use Paradox next turn, and then if it takes more than 4 turns to win, you just win. you win instantly. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna stop yabbing now because it's 41 or 42 minutes. 44 now. So yeah, thank you very much for watching this video through and through. I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.